morning. Now recording, and it's such a fabulously delicious Friday. Everybody who's live, I just reported to Amanda that I woke up well this morning, just like, oh, I'm awake. Oh, this is nice. The thoughts I woke up to were just nice and pleasant. So I'm feeling really good about today. I've eaten breakfast. I've
Nice.
showered and done all of the appropriate things to be a good human being. So I'm feeling good. And today the topic is relationships on TV
Mm.
and like real accurate, crazy, not crazy. And the one that's coming to mind, because I just got finished rewatching it, there's a show on Netflix called The Diplomat.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Yes. So I watched it 3 or 4 times, maybe more.
I think I've done
Um,
so I'm with you.
right now. So that is a crazy relationship. And so for those of you guys who've never seen Diplomat on Netflix, please go watch it because I just love that show. And I want them to make more seasons. So if y'all watch it, they'll make more seasons. But it's this couple who they're getting a divorce, but they are tied together politically. And they actually seem to be good political partners.
Yeah.
And also being political partners is what is driving the divorce.
Yeah.
And so it's such an interesting dynamic. But the thing that excited me as a TV watcher and distressed me as a couples therapist is they physically fight.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. And like as a therapist, I'm like, no, it's never okay to hit your partner.
Yeah.
And so, and and I can't remember, but there have been other TV shows where I also will say this on most TV shows, it's the woman hitting the man.
Yeah.
I will say that. And that's still not okay with me. It's still not okay.
I love that you named that, Natalie.
Yeah. And I think men, because I've heard men talk, actually recently, and men like, well, she can't hit me, she can't hurt me, she can like it's okay. And I'm like, no, it's not okay. Violence is not okay.
Yep.
And I personally feel like, and I know this isn't true, because I've talked to a good amount of men, but I know that they're like, oh, she can hit me, it'll be fine. I still think it's not okay. But I also think you're kind of setting up a precedence for violence in your relationship. And I know some people will be like, no, that would never happen. If she hits me, I'll never hit her back. But I do think we're if not setting a precedent, I think we're opening a door.
Normalizing it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think that's okay. And as much as I'm invigorated by that TV show, I want us to have a bigger conversation that violence is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're a woman, I don't think it's okay for you to hit another adult.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll ever be okay. I mean, unless we're like fighting for our lives and the war is coming, like,
For sure.
But but in the context of a relationship with somebody that you want to build with forever, I think I want each person building a culture of safety.
Yeah.
And if you hit me because you're upset with me, that's not cool. That's not cool. Okay, Amanda, what do you want to say? What do you want to dive in at?
Because I also love the show, Natalie. I'm so glad you brought up this example because I'm thinking about it. And yeah, it's the wife usually hitting him. Like, I don't think there's ever been an example of, I mean, they fight a couple times, but he's not really, punching at her.
Yeah.
And just thinking that, yeah, like it's kind of, it's matching up with me in our culture, how we often dismiss men who have been sexually assaulted by women.
Oh.
So it's kind of tied together for me because I have a client right now who has dealt with that, and it's the sexual assault is not what is stuck with him. It's been his treatment by other people. Like that's gotten like, oh, that couldn't have happened, or that, and so that's another topic we can talk about another time. But I'm so with you that like our relationships should be founded on a culture of safety, and no matter who is putting their hands on the other, and you know, physical violence, verbal violence, financial violence. I mean, there's all sorts of ways we abuse
Oh my
each.
God, yes, yes.
Even just zooming in on the physical violence, you're absolutely right. You know, as a culture, I think we dismiss it because women are typically not as strong. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
or you know, like, you know, men are like, she can't hurt me. But that's not what it's about. It's not about
Right.
physical wounds. Anybody who's been through physical abuse, or not anybody, but I've worked with a number of people who've been through physical abuse in different contexts. It's not the bruises that stick with them. Like you heal, the bruises heal.
Yeah,
It's that
yeah,
the emotional abuse that comes with it. You know,
definitely so.
safe. It's trauma. And I know we throw around trauma in our culture
Mhm.
too much sometimes, you know, especially younger folks. I'm so traumatized. Trauma,
Mhm.
the trauma is so real. And if we can't be safe, you know, I'm kind of bringing back like my old work as a pastoral counselor, but if we can't be safe with like the people we love, like
Mhm.
safe with.
Mhm.
So that's a lot for me to think, like sort of digest, like with this show that I like.
Right. Yeah, it is. It is. All right. So moving on, another dynamic in that show. It's just YouTube to do videos on TV shows. Um, another show that has a crazy. I'm actually going to say sexual dynamic. Is the House of Cards. Did you ever watch that?
Watched all but the last season. Like it kind of lost
Okay,
it.
yeah, me too. Okay, so we're right there together. All right, and so they have again is tied up in their political life is tied together, but their sex life is I I want to say atypical, and I know that doesn't. I mean, of course, most TV show relationships are atypical. Like this is not what normal people are doing. But their sexual relationship is I don't even know how to describe it. Like it is I don't even know how to describe it.
It's been a couple years since the show, but like reflecting back, yeah, it's definitely not typical. Um, you know, it's interesting you pick these two sort of politically motivated shows,
Mhm.
because you know I started my career in politics for a couple of
Yeah.
years. Started foreign diplomacy, so I was around a lot of like political people, and there is definitely a sexual energy with power.
Mhm.
Like there can be, and I
Mhm.
don't just mean in like a predatory way. Like powerful people sometimes have like a sexiness about them, and
Yeah.
it's chalked up to with House of Cards, you know, because there was infidelities, there was
Right?
infidelity, you know, and things like that. And as sex therapists, I know we often normalize like if this is normal for your relationship and it's working
Mhm.
okay, but it wasn't a typical relationship.
No. And I'm gonna say that particular relationship is so crazy. Now that I'm really thinking about it, they don't use sex as a form of connection in that relationship. Sex is not how they connect.
Yeah, it's about power.
Sex is about power for them. And in one situation, when Claire is goes essentially goes off for a mini affair with Adam, the photographer guy, that was sex was used as rebellion. I
Mhm.
feel like in that situation, um, I think Frank uses sex with the reporter. I think he uses that as a form of connection and binding her to him. So that's more of a power play.
Yeah.
And then let's look at Jacqueline and Remy.
Mm,
And was that may have been connection for them, but there was also this other tinge of I think release for her. Like it was her stress reliever. So that was very interesting. But it's very interesting that I feel like that show nobody's using sex for connection. Like nobody's using sex to bond with a person for pureness of I love you and I want us to be more intimately connected. And
well,
so
to answer a question for your point is how often do we see in TV shows like
mhm.
sex though? Like how often do we really see that?
Not at all, actually. It's not something portrayed. There's, and again, I say I want most people to look, sex in marriage, we don't see a lot of. And so even in going back to The Diplomat, if I'm not mistaken, I think we saw them had one or two sexual experiences, but I only remember one. And that sexual experience wasn't to connect with her husband. It was because she was horny. She got in a situation that maybe excited her, made her erotic, and she came home and essentially used her husband for that, but it wasn't to connect with her husband. And so one of the things I want, I guess, all people to know is take a step back and realize that most of TV and sexual relationships on TV is atypical. Like this is not the norm. If let's see, what do I want? I don't want you to aspire to that in your life. I literally have had a client sit in my office and say, I want a sex life like Frank and Claire have on House of Cards. Like it's been a long time. But it's just like, no, that's not what we want. Like, and so and it's been so long since I've had that case, so I can't remember if that person was looking for a sense of freedom or a sense of I don't know what I can't remember what the motivation was, but I would like for you guys, as you think about this and how you want sex, what do you want sex to mean in your relationship? That's what I think. Okay, I'm there now. So, I thought my thoughts through. I would like everybody to sit down and honest to God think about and talk to your partner about two things. One, what does sex mean for us in this relationship? What does it mean for us? Two, what is good sex? Like, when is it good? And I think there's one more question. What is good sex? When is it? What does it mean for us? And I think some general conversation about, and how do we stay connected if we want sex to be a part of connection?
Yeah.
Like, how do we do it? Go ahead.
I would say even like I guess a second conversation after that, I think a pretty frequent type of couple we see in our practice is people whose sex drives are mismatched.
Mm-hmm.
And the longer you go in the relationship, the more that can be like a glaring mismatch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, it's not new anymore.
Right.
Because I don't know if I would say, especially in long-term relationships, but I think so. Like sex is a connecting device, a connecting. How else can you connect if you're not? If libidos are mismatched and one person really values sex as a connector, for example, like how can you connect otherwise in a meaningful, not sexual intercourse? Because I've got a handful of clients that I'm working with right now, like how not to take sex out of the equation, but sometimes we need another way to connect that isn't sex. But it's so interesting. I'm like running through all these TV shows, Natalie, as we're talking, and like who's like connecting. And I feel like times when it's long-term sex, like the long-term relationship sex, fun of, or like it's made funny, like it's goofy, or like sex in 6 months, so we're gonna finally do it today. It's a joke. When I would say like that's one of the best parts of a long-term relationship is having that.
Yeah.
It's not always swinging from the chandeliers, but it can be just so nice.
One of my clients calls, she likes to talk about like sex like pizza. She uses the reference of pizza.
My client in my session this morning because this analogy came up.
And so she was saying, like, you can always eat Little Caesar's pizza. Like, pizza is pizza. Like, it's always going to be pizza. It's always going to be good as pizza, And so she was like, in a long-term committed relationship, that's kind of what, like, sex is. Like, regular pizza the majority of the time. Like, it's good, but not great. And then she was like, but then there are times when you get to have, like, the expensive pizza. Like, like the 5 cheeses that have been imported from Italy pizza, like the pizza that the restaurant demands you eat it with a fork, like, and you would be looked down on. And so she was like, she just feels like that's what sex in a long term relationship is. And so I'd invite our clients and our listeners to think about how can they create those moments of specialness.
Mhm.
How can they? And also, I want to remind everybody, because I think couples forget this. Most of the time when we see people on TV, I want y'all to remember that they're actors. I want you to remember that they really do work out like 3 hours a day, unless they're on set doing like 14 hours. Like they really do work out that much. And again, that their sexual relationship they're portraying on TV is atypical. Like, please do not think that you should have a sexual relationship like they have on TV.
Mm.
It's just it's not realistic for most normal everyday couples who are working a 9 to 5 and have to pick up the kids and have to like go by their mom's house and check in on their grandmother and
Yes,
right.
so sexy parts of life that get in the way. Yeah, that's a great point that like not everybody is going to be a size 2. Not everybody is going to have the sexual menu of such great
Right.
and that's less in TV shows, but sometimes movies that I'm like,
Yeah.
what do these people do?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And I really want people to start when you see a couple having sex on TV or a sex scene on TV or just a sensual scene on TV. I ask you, is this couple married or not? And how long have they been married? Because I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, the couple's not going to be married. They just met. They're getting together. They're wanting to get together. They're having an affair. Like it's a fair relationship. It's not just a couple who's been together 10 years and they're making it work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting.
It's
Ooh,
oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to say, I can't even remember the movie. I just remember the scene. Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore with the
Ghost.
yeah,
Hey, yeah, that's so
right.
sexy.
And so even in that, wasn't he a ghost in that? It's and so, and I remember that scene. Like I remember it being, what would I say, intensely sensual. I don't know if I remember it being sexual, but intensely sensual. And
Erotic.
so,
Well, erotic, but yeah, not necessarily.
yeah, erotic, sensual and erotic. It's so funny. I can't really remember the rest of the movie, but I remember that scene. And so he was a ghost. This is yeah. We don't have a picture of them doing that when they were like alive and married and both okay. And so I just want people to keep that in mind because sometimes we don't think, well, oh, he was a ghost. So this was not their reality. Like even in the movie, this was not their reality of what they had. This was something else. So, okay, go ahead. I think I took it one thing because I got so excited about thinking about that.
About is it McCarthy or Klein that has the whole idea of like good enough sex, right?
Barry McCarthy. Mm-hmm.
I always mix the two names up. And I want to come up with a better name for that.
Mm-hmm.
for good enough sex. Because the concepts are so, I think, affirming to like what we're talking about. Like, not everything is going to be swinging from the chandeliers, sex with a ghost,
Right.
or whatever thing. But to just kind of what all the stuff we're talking about, like your body isn't going to be like it was when you were 18, when you're
and being okay with that. Just please be okay with that. Yeah.
okay. The pizza example works really well in this. I think too. Really a lot of different things with sex. But, I was talking with a girlfriend, actually, not a client recently, who was talking about like her breasts post kids, post breastfeeding, post just being 45.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid my husband doesn't like them anymore because they met when she was 25.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like, does he act like he's attracted? Yeah. And I gave the pizza analogy. I said, kind of like pizza, like the 25-year-old breast, the 48-year-old breast.
Yeah.
Breasts, and they're all pretty good.
Yeah.
Most men, particularly your husband who cares about you, they're happy to see the breasts.
Right.
So much of our insecurities are are really just rattling in our head. And it's hard to remember that
Yeah.
your partner loves your body probably as much as they love you.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
matter what it looks like, because the connection is there. It's not just
Yeah.
magazine
Yeah.
body, it's the connection.
And I think I want women to, men, men and women, I want everybody to realize this. Healthy individuals, attraction changes and stays consistent with their age.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Healthy individuals.
Healthy. Okay. So I think we can all identify like that person, like that person is hot. Like we can all identify that person is hot, but am I attracted to them? Do I want to go up and talk to them? Do I want to go up? Do I want to have a conversation? Can I have a conversation with them? I think after a certain age, if you sit down with like a 20-year-old, you're just like, oh my God, you're so young. Like you make me, we're not even having the same, we're not even speaking the same words. Are we speaking the same language? And so I would love, I guess, women in particularly to remember that, um, that attraction changes with age, that when I'm 40, I'm attracted to more 40-year-olds. Like, when I'm 50, I'm attracted to more 50-year-olds. And that attraction changes with that. Also, I was in a seminar and we specifically talked about it. Um, and the guys on stage was just like, if we see a naked woman, we're not, he's like, it's the little boy in us that's like, oh, naked woman. Like he's not, right? Boobies. It's not, he was like, there is no like critical
Mhm.
adult, like, oh, they're saggy now. Like we're excited to see naked boobies every day. And I think like, A, it was hilariously funny. And B, I think they were really being serious. And C, I think it just, for us in that room that day, it brought it down some anxiety that we have. And I was in session one time, and this guy said, he was like, I see a beautiful woman every day.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he said it with like almost this awe, I think drove home for me, which is why I always remembered it, that how men see women in a much different way and light than we see men.
Yeah. And
Like
how
I don't.
we see ourselves than how we see
Oh
ourselves.
my God, yeah. Like no woman I know would say I see a fine or sexy man every day. No. Like it's not on our radar. They're not on our radar like that. Like if they're not in our world, like I gotta get the kids together, I gotta get dinner ready. Like that doesn't affect my world whatsoever. Like it's not there. And yet they seem to be so aware of us
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah,
such a way.
as much as the feminist theorist
Mhm.
hates how culturally we often return to gender, but like there
Mhm.
is gendered about sexuality.
Yeah.
And, they're not. They're not. They're equal. Like they're just different.
Yeah.
The man you're saying like sees a sexy woman every day,
Yeah.
or beautiful woman, however you put it. Like we're picking up on other signals. And we have that mental labor load that like even the best of men don't seem to get.
Right.
So yeah, it's so it's interesting. Like I this working with you, Natalie, has like taught me so much about like I need to let my own like preconceived notions like gender is a construct. Well, yes, gender is a construct, and there are biological forces at play when we have
Yeah.
sex and how we experience attraction and sex. And
Mhm.
so yeah, I'm just
Mhm.
glad you brought up that point. Like men don't see us the way we see ourselves. And women don't see men the way men see women, but it's just different.
Yeah, it is different and fabulous.
Yeah,
So, okay.
gift.
All
It's a
right. So winding us down this time really went, fabulous conversation went by so fast. What's your takeaway? What do you want people to take away with or want with?
I wanted people to take away that again, like media is not the same as real life. And that just because we're seeing people banging it out on TV in the most extraordinary ways
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that that's real life.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I want to say to people right now in Hollywood, there's this thing called intimacy coordinators, where a person is choreographing the sex scenes and what touch is okay and what body part is okay. And so I want you to know that on these TV shows, at least now and moving forward, there's so much thought put into it. And I would like for our clients to put a little bit more thought into being intentionally sexual with their partner.
Oh, I love that, Natalie.
That's what I like.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, okay. All right. Have a great and wonderful day. I'll talk to you next time. All right. Bye bye.